And we are back with the fifth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm going to continue on grading every single first rounder in this entire draft. And I should also note that the Avengers, the Team USA, they have landed in Paris. They're there. It's almost time for these Olympics to kick off. I'm super excited for the United States to just straight up destroy every single national team. And hopefully, Victor Wembanyama will have some mercy on us and we do not lose to the French because they have a fruity home court advantage. It's just a beautiful home court advantage that they have going on right now. And on top of that, Victor is tall, Victor is scary, Victor is an alien, he is all of these things, and Rudy Gobert, he is also really annoying to go up against, and on top of, having Joel Embiid in the lineup, he's a bit iffy, and he doesn't like getting physical. I know Rudy Gobert is going to try jabbing him a little bit, maybe elbowing him, and then Joel Embiid is going to go like this and cost us the game, so please, hopefully Victor doesn't have a good game. Hopefully, this is the one time that I'm hoping that Victor doesn't play well, and that is against the United States, because I'm expecting that matchup to happen pretty soon. And I'm also expecting that matchup to possibly be the downfall of the United States. Victor is very, very scary. I don't want that to be taken lightly. Victor is very, very scary. But aside from that, let's continue with this draft pick, with these grades and, grading every single draft pick. So now we move on to a surprise pick in this draft, and Matas Buzelis. Now, again, very surprising. Like, his performance, top tier, almost an A, but, I have to give it just a B+ because of his true shooting percentage not really being exactly as high as I thought it was, and his turnovers being a little bit high as well. But he averaged 16 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, which, again, very impressive. Just need to cut the turnovers and also need to, add more assists to that if you are going to get a lot of turnovers. But, pretty solid, so B+. I have no complaints about this. Then the next two players, they're a little bit tricky. Nikola Topic, he hasn't played a single Summer League game, so I'm not going to grade him. He's, coming back from a huge injury, just not going to grade him. And Devin Carter as well, coming back from an injury, also not going to grade him because he did not play in any Summer League games. Next, we have, Bob Carrington. I previously said that he might actually be the best pickup that the Wizards got in this draft. He is averaging 15 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, and is shooting 49% and is having a 49% true shooting Summer League performance, right? Like in the Summer League, he was shooting 49.6% true shooting. And, the fact that he's playing better than the second overall pick in the entire draft is both good and bad. Like, it's bad because, oh God, your number 2 pick isn't playing good. But on the bright side, your number 15th pick or 14th pick, is playing really well. So, 15th pick, 14th pick. Jesus, what is up with me today? I can't do math. Whoops. Next is Kel'el Ware for the Miami Heat, and I have him as an A+ because, I recently didn't have him as, that high of a grade, and I also had him coming off of the bench. That is mainly because the Heat already have a starting center in Bam Adebayo, but after I looked at the averages that Kel'el was averaging, I realized that this man could really be a really good second center, a second center option for the Miami Heat. He averaged 18 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks on 66.7% true shooting. This is very good. The only thing that I could really see a problem is the lack of playmakers from Miami hindering his performance. But aside from that, very good pickup. Next is Jared McCain. and he is arguably one of the more controversial players, but despite the fact that he paints his nails, I'm still going to give him a B+. He averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 42% true shooting from the field. Well, true shooting, excuse me. And he's expected to be the backup to Tyrese Maxey. So, again, B+ for a solid 13-point per game scorer. It might diminish in the regular season, but still, B+ for now. We'll see how it goes into the regular season. And next, we have arguably the biggest steal in the entire draft, Connect 4, Dalton Connect, the 17th pick in the entire draft. And he's averaging 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers on 53% true shooting, and 1.7 steals per game. Easy A+, biggest steal in the entire draft. The only good thing that the Lakers have done right this offseason, might I add. And next on this list is Tristan da Silva. Now, I recently thought he was going to be a G League player, right? Or, at the very least come off the bench. And he's averaging, I looked at his averages. In the 3 games that he played, he's averaging a really solid 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover on 83% true shooting, as well as 1.3 steals per game. That true shooting, that 83% true shooting is phenomenal. I don't know if it's going to be that efficient in the regular season, but for the Summer League, that is very phenomenal. And based off of that, I have to give it an A+, because that is straight peak basketball right there. That is phenomenal. And it's like, I can't really ask for a better Summer League performance other than that. Like, you just can't. Next, we have Jacoby Walter for the Toronto Raptors. I know he's not wearing a Raptors jersey in this picture, but just believe me, he's on the Raptors. And he is, he played 5 games for the Raptors, averaged 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1.6 turnovers, and averaged 50% true shooting from the field. So, really, only being a solid scorer, I'm going to have to give it a B- because, the assist-to-turnover ratio could be better. That's something that a lot of these rookies have to work on, the assist-to-turnover ratio. Like, a lot of the passes that they're used to making can't be made anymore because these athletes are going to expect it and anticipate it now. So, very turnover happy. Don't want to be that in the NBA season. Next, we have Jalen Tyson for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He averaged 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3.2 turnovers, 1.4 steals, as well as 68% true shooting from the field. Again, that true shooting is very impressive in my opinion, and I have to give it an A+ because, again, 15 points per game and 7 rebounds on 68 true shooting is just phenomenal. That's just really, really good, and some really solid numbers there from Cleveland, especially with a pick that is, so low. That's could be another steal. Next is Yves Missi. Now, he's one of the average players in the draft. In fact, the rest of this list could be seen as relatively average. So, he's on the Pelicans, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed run through this because, these players are rather average. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 51 true shooting, B- because, again, average, not really that much of a difference maker. Deron Holmes II, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers in the 1 game that he played, 68% true shooting, but he only played 1 game, so I'm going to have to give that a C+, because, again, that's a relatively mediocre performance. Now, the true shooting is phenomenal. The only reason why it isn't higher than a C+ is because he only played 1 game. Next is AJ Johnson. He played 5 games, 11 points per game, and I'm going to have to give him a C simply because I don't really see much. I don't really see much use for him for this Bucks. He's not going to be a huge difference maker. He's not going to be a ridiculous and fantastic player. So it's I don't see the big deal. I just don't see the big deal. Next is Kaishan George. He is going to get a B simply because, his performance is it's mediocre, 9 points. He played 5 games. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, but 3 turnovers. And he also had 71% true shooting. So I'm going to have to give it like, a B minus because it's like, there was good. Not a lot of good, but there was good. Then there was bad. Not a lot of bad, but there was bad. So those are just my opinions on that. Next, we have... Oh, well, I can't see the picture, but apparently I hope you guys can see the picture. It looks like you can. We have Pacome Diet. Forgive me if I messed up that last name. Again, another average player, 5 games played, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 38% true shooting. Gonna have to give that a D+, because that is just really, really bad. And I also don't really see how he's going to fit on the Knicks roster. Next player on this list is... for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Dillon Jones, 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 43% true shooting. I don't see how he will fit with the rest of the team. I feel like the rest of the team already has a proper rotation, but he could bring some competent scoring coming off of the bench. He is really solid. Again, the stats that I'm looking at, relatively solid. Gonna have to give it a B- just because of the solid stats. Next player is going to be Terrence Shannon Jr. Now, he played 4 games for the T-Wolves, averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and 66% true shooting. Based off of the true shooting and, the points per game average and the production, I'm going to have to give it a B+. I hope that he can sort of develop into a much better defender going into the future, but that's just me. So for now, it's a B+, not that bad, not bad at all. Next is Ryan Dunn. He's one of those meh players. I said he was going to be in the G League, and, 5 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 35% true shooting. I'm going to have to give that a C+, because, while the true shooting is pretty bad, he is able to get you a steal, and he's also able to get you a block, and, be a little decent in terms of scoring, but again, not really that impressive. But for being a low pick, such a low pick, that's why he gets, a relatively high score, a C+, despite the fact that his performance might actually be a D or something like that. Now, Isaiah Collier for the Utah Jazz, and, he played for USC, the same college that Bronny came from. He is going to get a B. In the 4 games that he played, averaged 11 points, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 rebounds, and was 46% true shooting. Again, not really a difference maker for the team, but in a team that's rebuilding, I have a feeling that I think this is a B grade, because again, rebuilding, so it's not like they're expected to win right now. Now, unlike the Celtics, a team that's expected to win right now, Baylor Shearerman, again, forgive me if I completely botched that name, he is going to play, he played 5 games, and I believe I said he was going to be in the G League, but I could also see, a role where he's starting just based off of these stats, because he's averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, and 51% true shooting. For being the last pick in the first round, this is incredibly solid performance, and I'm going to have to give it an A, because again, this is just very, very solid. For the last pick in the draft, pretty nice. So that is all I have for this final segment, and that's basically it for the entire podcast for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. As usual, please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every show segment. It is gsmcpodcast.net. Helps the show, makes it much more interactive between myself and you guys. That is all I have for you today on this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Nelson. Have a wonderful day, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to